Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen, with the dark shadow of the Empire rising to take their place. This message is a warning and a reminder for any surviving Jedi. Trust in the Force.
They've outgrown their age of rebellion, dulled the Empire's edge, defeated Imperial generals and the Pirate Queen's dredge. They've been soldiers and scoundrels, what's there left to be? How about lost acolytes looking for their force and destiny? There's a seer, hermit, investigator, and teacher. Better watch your back or a vibro ring's gonna reach you. Will this team find the light or will darkness win the day? Find out with the heroes of the Hydian Way.
Previously on Heroes of the Hydian Way, Kesh, Koba, Skip, and Hillary chose to join together and pursue kyber crystals missing from the holocron of Siljo Ward. They began in Qualas, where Ward left a young Miriellen to intercede between warring clans. Unfortunately, years turned intercession into control, and the heroes found themselves amongst a rising rebellion. The question was not if a rebellion should occur, but rather how to remove the despotic Grieve and how to ensure a future without civil war. Knowing they cannot choose for the city, the heroes instead supported Pathrin as he called upon both families to discuss their path forward. Join them at the table in today's episode, Balance of Power.
Welcome to Heroes of the Hydian Way. This is a Star Wars actual play podcast, and we're playing in Fantasy Flight Games' Force and Destiny system, using the Chronicles of the Gatekeeper adventure as developed by Tim Cox and Max Brook. This is Act 1, Episode 10, and I'm Ben, the GM for this adventure.
Greetings! I'm Skip Goby, a Kalaran Seeker Hermit, and apparently I am the third nicest member of this little group.
I'm Cash, the Trandoshan Seer. All of my numbers are low, because apparently I'm a terrible person.
That'd be terrible lizard, actually, right?
Are you saying lizards aren't people?
And I'm Hillary. I'm Hillary, Auric. I'm apparently doing pretty well for myself, and Cash, we love you as you are. We trust that you will make wise decisions moving forward, though we may not always agree with them. And you're doing fine, dear. You're a lovely person.
I'm going to get this number to 0, too.
I believe it's currently at 0.
No, the other number.
Oh.
The Cash's anti-gamos are at 0.
Cash, we cannot live by numbers alone, no matter what the mathematicians tell us.
I worship a goddess called the Scorekeeper, Hillary.
But this is not her score. This is a different set of numbers, so just disregard it.
She can keep track of more than one number.
Maybe she means a score like a heist.
That would certainly be a unique interpretation, Koba. I've never seen a Trandoshan do that before.
Well, we'll have to try then, won't we?
So, Koba.
I'm Koba.
Yep. That tracks.
To learn more about our heroes, we get one to ask another a question, and it is now Hillary's turn.
So, Koba.
Hillary.
I have been wondering. Now, see, I quite clearly have a family. I talk about them a lot, and everybody rolls their eyes when I start. And Kesh had interesting family, and Skip has Gudge, and some curious past. But you seem to have been alone for some time. Why?
Why? Hillary. Here's the thing. Everybody I get close to never ends well. I'm a curse, an albatross. I just lead everybody that I care about into danger. That's why I make sure to hate all 3 of you. Maybe that way you'll survive. Maybe that way you'll make it out of this entire mess without catching a bullet or a speeder to the face or a pineapple.
Well, if I'm honest, I've already been hit with a cabbage. That wasn't so bad.
It was a Chandril and pineapple. They're much more dangerous.
Oh, okay. Well, I thank you for your hatred, then. It's good effort, and let's just not have you get shot. Because I'm pretty sure that's when the albatross turned bad.
I tried to love once.
I'm not going to get in the way of this flashback. Hillary just sits down nearby to listen.
Won't make that mistake again.
Oh, Koba, we will do well. Maybe not beautifully, but well enough.
You might have to consider, Hillary, that now that you're in this life, you might not ever be able to go back to the way things were.
I've expected that.
Like me, you might have become a liability to everybody you care about. Sometimes you still gotta make the hard choices, keep yourself apart, because you know that in the end, it's the only way to keep them safe. The only way to keep them warm and fed.
I'm going to consider that, and I'm going to go. I've just got to go, clean the cash machine. Oh.
Now your score is definitely lower than mine.
The best thing you can do sometimes is take yourself out of the equation.
Okay.
Out of the narrative.
It all comes back to math. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Koba. It's good talk. Good talk.
Kesh gets it.
Are you done rubbing salt in the old man's wounds?
How dare you
monster.
hurt Hillary?
Exactly.
My goodness.
He already said he had to hate us. Had to push us away.
Mm-hmm.
Koba's a very broken individual.
And how?
And in the background, you just see Hillary start to scrub a mug. I'm just gonna stay over here and do the dishes. Yes.
And our destiny pool for this session consists of 4 light side points somehow contributed by Koba and Kesh, and 3 dark side points contributed by the other 2.
Hey, I'm on the side of light.
By the other 2.
Yep, the other 2.
This is feeling a little adversarial.
It's fine, Leslie. The pessimists over there just don't like our, sunshine characters. It's fine.
We're not pessimists. We're realists. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kesh.
Oh,
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Are we agreeing on something?
Yes.
At least they're talking to one another again.
Ugh.
that's true.
We may have our differences, but I think the 2 of us have both seen the beating heart of this galaxy, and we know that it's twisted and shriveled and diseased.
Skip and Hillary just look at each other and kind of like put their chins on their hands and give each other a meaningful look.
No, at this point, Hillary's in tears, man.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. You can sit on the... I'm just going to come sit and lean against you now.
The camera shifts from the 4 of you, and the 4 of you are sitting at this somewhat impressive, wooden table that it's... The way the camera starts off looking is the 4 of you, it almost looks like a diner, because there's this big table in between you, there's a door at the other side, just on the side of where you can go walking, and then the camera does this weird sort of modern thing of starts pivoting up and going over, keeping the 4 of you in frame, but very much sort of showing off the way this looks. You can see at this end of the table, there's this inlay of this tree and root system. The 4 of you are down at the root end. As the tree inlay grows up, the camera follows this, and then you see these 5 Sathari up at the other end of the table, where we can see Pathrin, who the heroes have dealt with before, and he's sitting the closest to Kesh. We've briefly seen one of these other Sathari, Elina. She is sitting across from Pathrin, closest to Hillary. They are sort of looking between each other and providing almost a physical barrier between the other three and our heroes. At the end, we have 3 new Sathari that I think I am going to get introduced to us. And if you have any sort of descriptions for them, there's Pathrin with a sword and armor and like this bear sloth flowing cape with the shock of white on his face going into this blue and purple feathers, showing off how he is the ostensible leader of the Pelshar hunting crew.
Okay. I'm glad you specified that.
At least that's what his day job is.
I think in direct contrast, Pathrin's mother, Ko-Helshar, isn't carrying any weapons or wearing any armor, anything of that nature. She is wearing a well tailored and designed and kind of on the fancier side sort of dress. And I'm not sure what this would be like what would be like jewelry for a Sathari, because they don't really have
Amber.
Huh.
I mean, it's petrified tree sap.
Yeah.
Feather pins.
Plus if orange is our color,
Beads.
yeah. So I think she's got a necklace on of amber, sort of set in a colorful pattern, and her feathers are also blue and green, like her son's, but they're a little maybe running a little bit thinner and in some spaces, and I think sort of there's more of a greenish pattern up around her head and sort of trails down into more bluish as it goes down.
Elena is already in the room, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Elena
Okay.
is. I'm sitting next to me.
Which is hilarious.
I'm sitting next to Me's other Me's son. I think Me is all around Pathrin.
Yes, that is true.
The very strange Oreo.
All right, so Odir Tumris will come in, and Odir is another older Sathari. He's wearing sort of comfortable robes. They look like they're nice fabric, but older man comfortable robes. You can see some stress bars showing on his primary feathers, but he doesn't look as sort of thinned out maybe as Ko does. Perhaps maybe he recently had a molt sooner than she has or something. But more importantly, he carries himself with a lot of sort of probably forced dignity, really trying to make himself puff up and look tall. And when he comes in, he does not meet the eyes of any of the strangers that are here. He just sort of glides his vision over everyone. And he does offer a sort of slight harumph when he sees Ko at the table, but then he sits down and straightens his collar. Still puffed up a little bit.
Also, in contrast to Odir's kind of introduction, Ko just sort of bows her head actually very respectfully, even as you're glaring at her.
She'll be the bigger bird. Metaphorically.
Yes, but Odir is trying to be the bigger bird.
To make myself look big.
And then the tail feathers got involved.
They flail out,
You gonna take point, Kazo? Or you want me to?
I can do this. So next comes Kazo Lamb, her feathers are a deep green and in some places brown color. So she looks a bit apart from the other clans that we've already seen. She is wearing a loose-fitting robe that has a very detailed sort of root system pattern sewn into it down the length of it. And she carries sort of a scepter is probably not quite the right word, but a staff-like object that she's not leaning on, even though she does appear to be one of the older Zathari here. It seems to have some more functionary significance based upon how it's carved and how it has, looks like Sathari writing up and down it, carved into the wood. It looks pretty old. So she comes and takes a seat sort of between the two that we've already met, glances at both of them and the fact that they are giving each other stares, and sighs heavily at that.
All right, and lastly, we have somebody we met previously. This is Elina Tumrus, sitting next to her father, Odir. She was the one we saw back at the fight outside of the Guardian shack, just bemoaning what was going on before her. And at that point, she was dressed up for the fate, but at this point, she is wearing very simple ivory and brown bark cloth robes. They are pocketed, and she has in front of her a bearscloth leather journal in front of her. And if you look at her hands, her feathered hands, which are folded on the table atop this, they are ink stained. She is a sort of historian or scribe kind of figure. And she is resolutely staring at Pathrin and ignoring the parents at the table, waiting for Pathrin to get things going.
Oh, yes. I'm glad that you've been able to make your way here. I know that this is a bit of a presumption of me, but I feel that this is something that the two of you should be aware of, and it might lead to larger discussions. But it is here and now that I should let the two of you know, with Elina's consent, of course, that she and I have gone through our bonding ritual.
Excuse me. Why was I not informed of this?
You are excused, Father. I am making no issues with this. This was my life.
I am your father. You are supposed to get my permission to do this sort of thing.
I am supposed to, but I do not have to.
Yes, you do.
I believe you can consult the rules and find that it is not required, merely encouraged, for circumstances such as this.
Did you orchestrate this entire thing to humiliate me in front of everyone, that my own daughter does not do what I say?
I don't know.
Oh, dear.
Do you feel humiliated?
Oh dear, the temple rules hold that as they are both adults, no other clan member has to agree. They must merely find an officiator with the proper religious credentials.
Odir is just staring at Kazo silently.
Ko turns to her son, looks between him and Elina, and says, "Congratulations."
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you.
How long ago was this?
It was shortly before our friends came to our fair city that we haven't had much chance to sit you down and break the news.
Of course, Ko is fine with this.
Yes, that should say a lot about her and you, Father.
With what Markov is doing, I have thought that we need to be out in front and making sure that people know that the clans are united in our resistance to Markov.
Now, dear, let's not get hasty here.
That's the first thing he said right now that I agree with.
The clans are not united in any sort of resistance to Markov.
Which is why we will not win.
Our Reeve deserves our support.
Elena, daughter, do you really think that this is the sort of family you want to marry into?
Would you depose the Reeve, Father? Would you make steps to make our home safe again? No, you would cower and puff. Pathrin and I will make a resistance. We hoped that you would support us.
Besides, oh dear, their branches are already entwined. That can't be changed. Although, I do have my concerns about this resistance plan.
I am all for the two of your union, but there's no need to bring the Reeve and, well, any treasonous thoughts into this conversation.
No. That is where. No. So,
And how
daughter,
is it treasonous if...
I am not talking to you. I am talking to my daughter. Daughter, I do not share your opinion that I would simply puff. I'm very proud of you for taking steps to begin to overthrow the current situation. I just don't think you need to lower yourself to do so. I suppose that if you and Pathrin, son, do want to be officially in the Tumors family, I think that...
We are of both families, Father. That is how this works. That is how a family is blended. We become one. Not one, not the other. We are together, a new family, and you are part of their family now.
Yes, but Ko is...
Also part of your family, right, Pathrin?
Ko delivers a bird smile kind of across the way.
Have the two of you consulted your roots on this? I don't recall seeing you frequent the temple.
What a priestly burn.
That broke me. When you are the head of a family, you don't necessarily always have time for that sort of thing.
As the head of a family, you say you do not have time for your ancestors?
That now. Kazo, may I call you Kazo? That
We've known
that is
each
not
other
what
for
I
30
meant.
years. Of course you can call me Kazo.
Cash starts to speak up. How about we move past the family drama and focus more on the issues with the Reeve? Surely you all see how bad he is for your city, how he's subjugating your citizens, destroying your art.
I'm sorry. Why are they here?
I'm Kesh. I'm here to help you. We are here to help you. To right a wrong from long ago. But we can only do that properly with your help.
In the day that they have been here, they have helped more people than either the Tumris or the Helshar have in a week. They diffused a situation that was going to become horrible at the Pillar.
I understand that. I understand that they have done useful things. What I'm saying is, why are they privy to a very private family conversation?
Because you were not having this conversation. You were avoiding this conversation. So we needed help, Father.
It was all just a matter of time. We just needed to make sure that everything was in line. We can't...
Okay, Hilger's going to slam his tiny hands on the table and stand up on his chair because he's tiny. As
Stand
Skip
up
so
on the
kindly
table.
points out. No, I'm not to the table yet.
Okay.
And how many people would you have lost in your time? How many people needed to be taken away by these guardians before you acted? Did it not matter because it was their family? Did it not matter to them because it was your family? Did it not matter because it was neither? People are being taken. You cannot.
Don't you think I know that?
I don't know. Do you? So, Alina's going to kind of pat Hillary's hand. Be like, thank you for making a point. Sit down again. It does not always seem that you know that, Father?
There is nothing that we can do.
By ourselves.
No.
Many
Look,
Sithari will
if-
die in any revolution.
Now, if the Tumris want to entertain this possibility, by all means, but the Helshar clan, including you, Pathrin, will have no part.
Well, it looks, Ko, like you no longer have a say in that.
What does it feel like, Father, to be on the same footing as a Helshar?
I am not on the same footing as a Helshar because my daughter is the smart one in this pairing and has the right idea.
Pathrin is leading.
The hunters that I have amassed, the resistance I have created is here, is a functioning thing. You may want to stick your head in the dirt, but we can't. Not any longer.
I do not understand why you are getting the impression that I want to continue sticking my head in the dirt. Not continue. I wasn't doing that before. I was biding my time. It was Ko that was sticking her head in the dirt. I am simply talking about this merging of our families and where that puts us in positions of power.
It puts us together.
And that is what we need.
Yes, but afterwards. I will not abide by a situation where the Tumris family has to make decisions alongside the Helshars. Look at what Ko is doing.
Oh dear, the branches of Clan Helshar and Clan Tumris are entwined. What more do you need to know?
The branches of the Tumris family just need to be bigger and taller.
That is not how this works.
That's how it works in my head.
As the Elrit grows and meshes with the trees next to it, creating the farms and pastures that feed all of us, so shall our clans grow together and become as strong as the Elrit, and as tall and as enduring as it. But if we are split in twain, then we shall never do more than fight, especially when we have someone like Markov dictating, revising our history.
Pathrin, there will be neither a Helshar or a Tumris or a combined clan if we stand against the Reeve.
If we all stand, we can do it.
No.
Why? Why do you fear him so? He is but one being. We have lost so many friends to his hold. Mother, we have lost so many. We do not need to lose more. If we can take him out of the picture, our lost family, they may return, and we can flourish once again, as the tree should. Mother.
Every time you say mother, oh dear, just kind of does a little, flustered bird shiver.
If you listen, the ancestors tell stories of other times that our people have lost their way. And whether those times result in bloodshed or not, we have survived. Do your hunters have enough number to ensure that the temple and our ways can be protected?
Is my hunters alone? No. If we used the Tumris hunters as well, then yes, we would be able to protect the temple and deal with the guardians as it needs to be.
The only way forward is together.
I don't mind using our clan resources to protect what we have. But I do not want us taking any kind of action against the Guardians. Now, if these outsiders mean to do something, then maybe that I could turn an eye away from.
We shall act and delay and occupy the Guardians so that these four can get into the Reeves mansion and possibly deal with the Reeve. And if they fail, the Reeve shall be in such a state that we shall be able to deal with the Reeve as well.
It's not that simple, Pathrin.
I agree that the Reeve must be unseated eventually, for he has pushed aside our ways. But are these outsiders truly the best mechanism? Do they even know their roots?
Well, perhaps the outsiders, if they fail, can be blamed on them. Odir is still not meeting the eye of any of the player characters.
That's okay. His daughter's giving him one heck of a stink eye.
Now in that way, we are perhaps useful, Cash says. But we will not fail. Our path ahead is clear. We were destined to be here for this. The thing we really need help with is what comes after.
Exactly.
Who will be in charge? And it can't be either the Helshar or the Tumorous. It needs to be the Helshar and the Tumorous together.
No, see, outsider, that is where you are wrong. Because if the Reeve and that interfering outsider ward had not come in here and done what they did, the Tumorous family would
have
in power.
Perished. Everyone would have died.
Daughter,
No.
might I remind you that I am the patriarch of our family and you need to learn your place. I am speaking.
Maybe.
Might I remind you that I have studied the history and I know where it was when this fool from the outside tried to help us.
All I'm saying is that if these outsiders do what they claim that they can do, our place is rightfully in the leadership position.
Kazo, you know more about the Sathari customs than the others here. Or perhaps you can enlighten this outsider. When does the title of patriarch or matriarch pass down to the next generation?
More fluffing by Odir over here.
Traditionally, upon death, but there are methods. If the ancestors agree to it.
And how do you get in touch with your ancestors?
Oh. You really are some sort of strange... It's done in the temple.
Well, perhaps that's how this situation could be settled. Let the ancestors, let your ways decide who should be leading the Helshar and the Tumorous, and in turn would decide whether you hide or whether it passes on to Pathrin and Alina, and your people can take the next step forward.
I, for one, like this outsider's opinion, because if we go to our ancestors, of course they are going to agree that the Tumorous family should be in charge. Why do you think Ko is so against this? Ko would rather see Markov in charge than the Tumorous family. Ko is sitting there happy that we did not get our way, because she knows that if we throw him out, it is the Tumorous family's time.
When was the last time you saw Markov do what we are fearful Markov does?
There's just some Odir fluffing, because Odir doesn't have an answer.
Markov is something that is near impossible to fight. He has abilities that I do not comprehend, but I know that we must overcome him, and afterwards we must recover. We have had 20 years of rot. We have had his entire existence happen here, and it has done nothing but rot the tree.
You do raise one good point, son. Markov has abilities. We don't understand. How can we possibly hope to fight against them? And that's when Cash is going to reach out a talent hand. Oh no. Well, I rolled 2 dark side pips on my 2 force rating, so down.
You're acting on anger and impatience.
Yep, so I continue to plummet my score as predicted.
That being said, though, if there was ever a time for a cast to just be done with it, and it's like, here.
And that's what we're going to do. So, what silhouette would you say the table is?
How much can you do?
I can only do silhouette 1, since I only rolled 2 pips. If I rolled 3, I could have done silhouette 2.
I have to imagine it's bigger than silhouette 1 if we've got like 8 people sitting
Maybe
around
there's a pitcher on the table. A salad.
I was trying to be dramatic, and Force Dice didn't agree.
Well, birds are really light, though.
Ooh, you can lift the decoration.
Like, you could lift the inlay of the table.
Okay.
Which I would go with. The table itself, it's probably silhouette 2. Like, it's an 8-person table. Yeah, I'm going with silhouette 2, especially once you start getting into it's a heavy wood thing. That being said...
Dang it, Dice, you ruined my table flip joke.
That would have been great. But I would go with the inlay for it would work out to a silhouette 1.
Then that is what Cash is going to start to lift straight up into the air. And as just like open beaks are staring at this thing, she's going to say, Markov isn't the only one with abilities.
And now we will be able to use outsider on outsider, like with like.
Where is Skip sitting?
Next to Hillary.
Yeah, you can't ignore this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Skip is just elbowing Hillary, eyes just super wide.
What?
You see that?
What? Yes, it's right there. It's literally in front of my face. How could I not see it?
I think Cash is doing that with her mind.
Yes, she is. She can do that. That's a thing. How do you not know this?
How do you know this?
She picks me up and puts me down in other places.
Since when?
Since for most of the time that I've known her, honestly.
Ben, Koba would like to use sense on... Really, if he has the opportunity to do so, I think he would like to sense each of the 3 Koa, Odir, and Kazo's emotional states.
Okay.
After seeing Kesh do this, that is technically essentially 3 actions, so if that's too much time, then I can start prioritizing.
Well, I mean, we probably have a few moments of them all going, wabahoo.
I guess I will target Ko first.
Okay.
If that's cool.
Yeah, no, that one's absolutely cool.
Yeah, I now got to figure out how she's reacting to this. I got 2 characters.
Fall with me, Brandon. Fall.
I will, point...
What if having 2 force dice now just means I'm going to fall that much faster?
And it certainly gives you the opportunity to fall
likely.
that much faster, yeah. It's a mixed bag, you know? It makes it more likely you don't have to fall to do things, but also...
It's okay. Cash's morality is just in D1's hands. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing, ever.
Don't talk about D1 and hands.
Yeah, it's not okay.
Oh.
So, 1 pip is enough to trigger sense the emotional state of one living thing, in this case, Ko Helshar.
Okay, I think her dominant emotion right now is fear.
All right.
This display just makes her that much more scared.
Koba will then turn his attention towards Odir, since Kazo kind of has sounded like she's on the side of the young lovers. Or at least on the side of the rules the young lovers are trying to evoke. All right.
What does that mean for
And
what I have
what did
to
you roll?
say?
Basically dominant emotion. Well,
Yeah.
what is Odir feeling primarily right now?
When Odir sees this display of force power, I think that probably Odir's primary emotion is sort of a kind of like a smug greediness that is kind of bubbling up. He thinks that, yeah, this is gonna work.
I guess I'll roll against Kazo. I'm not sure if I might not want to spend that destiny point if I
Yeah.
end up having to.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's fine. Last episode, you know,
So many dark side points.
Yeah.
go back and forth with yourself.
For clarification, how many points did you use last one? Just one?
Yes, I only activated one pip
Okay.
on that last roll because I don't currently have anything I can do with a second pip with sense.
Fair enough. I was just wanting to double check.
I guess I should be saying the first time to sense Ko, I got one dark side pip, so I flipped a light side point, suffered a strain, and added a conflict to use that one pip to activate sense. My roll against Odir, I got 2 dark side points, or dark side pips, so I flipped another light side point because it's a new action as far as timing is concerned. Suffered a strain and added a conflict because to use one of those pips, because I currently do not have any sense options that let me do anything with a second pip. And then against Kazo, I have rolled 1 dark side pip.
Gonna flip it?
Sure.
Yes.
Oh no. Well, it's worth noting that now that Bran slipped another destiny point, we just have 7 dark side points in the pool right now.
That's probably fine, right? That's probably fine, right?
That's fine. I'm cool with that.
So when Koba senses Kazo, Koba finds Ben. Is there any indication in the adventure that the Sathiri don't know what the Force is?
No, there's nothing really that says that they don't know what the Force is.
Okay. Then in that case, Koba senses from Kazo a sort of reverence mixed with surprise from Kazo. After doing that, Koba will lean over towards Hillary, be like, points at Ko and says, "She's scared," and the other one, Odir or whatever his name is, he might be manipulatable. How about you talk him down a little bit?
Hillary will nod, and he'll fold his hands in front of himself. Now, I was initially all for simply removing the reeve and allowing things to develop as well it should. But I realize, and I have been instructed, that this was perhaps foolish. Because when there is a power vacuum, power is there to be seized. And you do not want to allow those who would fear it to hold it in their own hands, nor those who would abuse it to hold it in their own hands. So the best solution moving forward would be a combined effort between the two families. Surely you can see that for it to be good for your family, it has to be good for their family, because you are now one family. Indeed, you have always been. You just lost sight of that through petty squabbles and probably some bitterness, which is not very productive. Surely you can see that the way to manage this gift of a future without the reeve is to take each other's hands and work in unison to forge the future you need, to forge any future, because if this continues, someone will do something foolish, and that will end in grief. Share the power, or lose all of it.
After Hillary is done talking and nobody jumps in to follow up, Kazo will bang her scepter thing on the table.
Is the inlay still floating?
I think I can only move it for a round.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's only a few seconds, but it's a few very impressive seconds before.
Okay.
Actually, I guess I can technically roll and not have to flip because I can't flip anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you could theoretically if you get light side points. Nope.
It's in the air for a few seconds, and then it gets kind of half falls, half gets set down roughly back on the table. As I roll
D1 gives
two more
only dark side
It
points.
clatters in poignantly.
So Kazo bangs her scepter on the table to give people's attention and says, "In my capacity as the temple's representative, this outsider," she says, motioning to Kesh, "possesses power spoken of among the ancestors. Surely this is a good omen. And they have brought the question of the right of accession for leadership of clans Helshar and Tumris. In my approximation, nothing in our rights say that cannot be brought by an outsider, especially one so gifted. Oh dear Tumris, do you object to the right of accession?"
There is a pause, a sort of refloofing of the sort of chest feathers. And O'Dear, for the first time, actually looks Kesh in the eyes. And then kind of does a little nod and looks back at Kazo. "I think this is agreeable."
Ko Helshar, do you object to the right of accession?
Well, I wouldn't want to pass up the first opportunity to agree with O'Dear. Yes, if this is what is deemed best, then I will abide by it.
Then together we shall consult our roots, and the ancestors will lead us on our path after the Reeve has been dealt with. That is the temple's proclamation.
O'Dear just looks as smug as birdly possible at Ko.
And I think this is the first time that Ko turns her gaze from O'Dear.
Now, since we are in fact among the roots, is there perhaps a way we can just go there now?
I presume the temple's within reach.
Screen wipe.
There's an amazingly elaborate temple that has been grown. It is truly grown in the central place where Kazo leads. You can see how branches have been braided together to create the walls and the ceiling. This was constructed by growth, literal true growth. In the middle of this, I'm going to go with 11 wall chamber, there is a pillar of bare wood that you can see the grains of it twisting together from several branches that have been cleared of bark, turning together and creating a central spire within this chamber. Each side of this is covered in runes, either set into the floor branches or just naturally there is light shining up on this central pillar. When the 9 of you walked in, like, it's after dark now, so the place itself had no lighting except for this pillar. And as you get to and encircle it, each one is lit just by the lighting of this pillar. Because Kolos pretty much goes with natural lighting for everything.
Because fire is bad in a tree society.
That too. We're here at the temple.
To perform the rite of accession, of course, which is when we consult the ancestors for leadership of the Sithari clans. It's the alternative to letting the current leaders die.
I'm thinking that a few acolytes of the temple have also come in because, Kazo's come back. They're sort of the leader, but you've also got those who are always willing to, look and snoop and whatnot. As this ritual starts going, you've got Kazo directing for different acolytes to do particular things. Mirrors get uncovered so that now the entire chamber is lit from the pillar's light, and it's somewhat smoky, as if a light fog has moved into this chamber / temple. I don't know why I'm really on the lighting right now.
Because it's awesome.
Do you want to at least start with the leading of the ritual?
Sure. So as the mirrors are taken out and the area is lit, an acolyte provides Kazo with what looks like a sort of large, dried, seed pod of some kind, about the size of a basketball. And Kazo instructs everybody in assembly, join feathers. We can consult the ancestors together.
Are we being part of this, or are we simply watching? We being the players, like Hillary and them. Because we don't have feathers. But...
Yeah, I suspect you're watching.
Okay, so
I would guess.
I wasn't sure.
Ko reaches out a hand towards Odir.
Odir will look down, realizing who he's standing next to, sigh, and accept it.
Pathrin would eagerly take Ko's hand and then reach out for Elina's hand.
Elina would take Pathrin's hand. Is Kazo going to be in part of this, or is it just going to be the 4 members of the family?
Kazo's doing other stuff.
Okay, so she will take her father's hand. While he is looking at Ko, she will reach over and just take it firmly and kind of squeeze it in that, I do still love you. So she'll kind of smile at Dad and then smile massively at Pathrin, because she didn't think this was going to happen. She didn't think there's any way we're going to get them anywhere near each other.
Odir is busy kind of harumphing at Ko, but when you grab his hand, he looks over at you, and there is a momentary sort of softness, and then he just kind of shakes his head and looks at the ground.
A couple acolytes take a position on either side of Kazo as Kazo raises the large seed pod above her head. Those acolytes start to kind of beat their wings, kicking up sort of a bit of wind of sorts around Kazo. Kazo says, for the benefit of the outsiders who are in attendance, the rite of accession is one of the ways that we of the temple consult those who came before us, and those who came before them, and those who came before them. For in passing on from this life, they have not just the wisdom they earned themselves, but the wisdom of the whole cosmos. When I open this pod, the seeds inside will float to one of the assembled, and the duty of choosing the leader for our people falls to them. And so Kazo raises the pod above her head, and with a quick jerk of her hands, twists each half in a different direction, and it pops open, and some seeds, some large seed-like things, they've kind of got burrs a little bit, so they will stick to stuff conveniently, but also they're kind of like those helicopter seeds.
Helicopter burrs sound like a terrible thing.
They're helicopter burrs. Don't worry, the ancestor guides them. And they get caught in this, in the sort of vortex that the acolytes beating their wings has created, and start to float somewhere, hopefully to tell us who gets to be, the decider. And I feel like it's not my responsibility to actually say where they end up, but...
Fair. listening to this episode of Heroes of the Hydian Way. You can find show updates on Twitter at The Hydian Way, and you can find me, Ben, on Twitter at Deuterium Ice.
Hi, I'm Ren, and I apparently now have my 4th character in this Hydian Way cinematic universe, and you can find me at Atomic Firebird.
And
this week I'll promote my Twitch channel. It is make_believe_. We do indie system one-shots and interview shows. And sometimes I flail about with video games.
I'm Christine, and I'm counting the number of characters I've played in Heroes of the Hydian Way. I think I'm at 9 total right now, so I definitely need one more before we end. That way I can say I've played 10 characters on the show.
don't give it to her.
Anyway, I can be found on Twitter at 12th Night. That's 12th and Night with a K.
You will find me being significantly less sensible and impassioned on Twitter at LesLitGS, and I moonlight on several other shows, which you'll see me talk about, because I love people.
I think I'm at 5 characters.
Hey, I was brave enough to actually take one this time, Ben. I was a weenie the first time we did this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at BlueOfTheKen. And you can find the Star Trek Adventures actual play that I GM at Endeavor Show. It's ENDEAVOUR show. Christine is also on that.
I am.
Ha-ha! We are all at thehydianway.com, where you can find previous episodes.
And you can find more episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Plus, you could really help us out by rating, reviewing, and subscribing to us.
We're also on Facebook as Heroes of the Hydian Way. You can holocom us at heroes@thehydianway.com.
Or alternately, if you like what we do and want to support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/thehydianway.
Or you can donate a cred to your local Sathari temple at ko-fi.com/thehydianway.
Dee-dee-dee.
Dee-diddy indeed.
Maybe she means a score like a heist.
That would certainly be a unique interpretation, Koba. I've never seen a Trandoshan do that before.
Well, we'll have to try then, won't we?
But my next character.
Christine makes a note.
Yeah, when do we just...
Trandoshan thief.
When's the season that's
trying
just
to make her feel
heists?
All right, and now...
What?
I've brought much light to this adventure.
Oh, whoops.
How does that even make
realize-
sense?
I didn't realize we were doing that. Sorry.
What?
All right.
I'm just... Okay.
There we go.
Ha!
How's that for an on-the-spot description?
Good, right until you announced it.
Yep. Oh no! And then I was given
you're
a different
gonna cut Christine.
picture for Pathrin. What have I done?
Yeah, same.
I'm close
I
enough.
think it
general.
matches well enough.
Yeah,
Okay.
one's more like dress uniform.
Oh dear, the temple sanctum... Blah, 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 blah. Kazo gets a bug in her mouth, I guess.
Yum.
Delicious.
Some wine went down the wrong tube.
Kazo, may I call you Kazo? That's
We've known
that is
each
not
other
what
for
I
30
meant.
years. Of course you can call me Kazo.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
I've already lost everything with this character. All right.
Puff.
Yeah, it sounds like you can just be like, you puff up a bunch and then somebody else has to talk.
Yes, I puff up a bunch and somebody else has to talk.
To right a wrong from long ago. But we can only do that properly with your help.
And then we hope the next leap will be the leap home. I'm sorry.
I don't get it. I'm sorry.
Quantum Leap? Have you not seen Quantum Leap?
I've seen 2 episodes of Quantum Leap, both because of Nicole.
So good.
Yes. Now, if the Tumris want to listen
Cower
to
like they
these-
usually do.
You're the
You're
Tumris.
Tomris.
Oh shoot!
The truth comes out.
Stand proudly like they
Why am
usually
I
do.
the one messing this up so much?
Now, if
Because
the
this is
Tumris,
confusing.
I
It's very
have so many
confusing.
notes. I took so many notes. I think I just have too many notes in front of me.
now if the and that train takes this,
And oh dear, can get on that train and leave.
yeah,
And
and
Coke and hop the next one.
Why would a bird say corroborate?
Because
Because
it's
our
fun.
ancestors would, of course, agree.
Train.
God darn it!
Just go with corroborate. It's a good
I
word.
can hear the train.
sorry, it was getting louder and louder as I was trying to talk, and
The ancestors speak to us now. Do you hear their voices? I'm gonna raise my hand just a little bit. Keep going.
That's all we needed to do there. That was just the dramatic moment where Skip finally realizes that everyone has force powers.
And the answer to your bet is 10. 10 episodes.
I have no idea where that speech came from. It was nothing I was planning on doing, so that was a load of crap.
That was a good speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
D1 was like, "Oh, the conflict episode was great. Do more
Yeah.
of that."
We rolled, Christine, you and I, between the two of us, rolled 7 force dice and did not get a
And not a
single
single
light
light
side
side
point. So Kazo,
Oh, wait. No, there was a double dark side. Right.
yeah.
Oh dear. Oh dear. God, every time.
Finger guns.
Wow.
All right.
Good job, everybody.
Whew.
That was an episode. A really good one.